There are stories that begin with a smile and end in silence. Stories that the world believes it already knows, but in truth, they hide behind shadows, locked away from the public eye. This is one of those stories. And everything, absolutely everything, begins in Rome. Rome, the city of eternal love, whispered secrets, and impossible promises. For centuries, its streets have carried the weight of confessions, hidden letters, and passionate encounters. But this time, the city itself became the silent witness of a secret photo, a photo that reveals more than words ever could. The photo did not appear in magazines, nor was it shared by fans on social media. It was never meant to be seen. And yet, it exists. Tucked away in a private collection, protected by those who knew its meaning. A single image, captured on a quiet Roman night, where two people, Yaman and Demet Özdemir, stood closer than anyone could have imagined. To understand the weight of this photo, one must return to the years when their story began. Can and Demet, the series that made them stars, was not just fiction. For millions of fans, it was real. Every glance, every kiss, every stolen moment on screen seemed too powerful, too sincere, too raw to be mere acting. Audiences from Turkey to Italy, Spain to South America, watched them fall in love on screen and whispered to themselves, "This cannot only be a script." And perhaps, they were right. Because between the lines of scripts and the flashing lights of cameras, something more was happening. Something that neither Can nor Demet would ever fully confess. But Rome, the eternal city, became the place where their truth refused to remain hidden. The night was ordinary, at least for those who passed by. The cobblestones of Trastevere glistened under the dim light of the lamps, and the sound of laughter spilled from small trattorias. Tourists took photos by the Tiber, unaware that just a few streets away, a story was unfolding that would remain secret for years. It was not a grand stage. There were no cameras, no directors, no producers orchestrating their every move. It was just the two of them, walking slowly, quietly, as if time itself had slowed down to let them breathe outside the chaos of fame. And then, it happened. A passerby, perhaps without even realizing the weight of the moment, lifted a phone and took a photo. A single frame. In it, Demet was looking up at Can, her expression softer than words could describe. Her hand, almost unconsciously, brushed against his arm. And Can, known for his strength, his charisma, his larger-than-life presence, looked fragile, almost vulnerable, in her presence. It was not a staged smile. It was not a promotional photo. It was not meant to be seen. But that single shot, taken under the Roman sky, captured the essence of what they had always denied. It captured truth. That photo was never released to the public. It was passed around quietly, whispered about in closed circles. Some claimed it was too dangerous, too revealing, because it showed what neither of them was ready to admit. Others said it was hidden to protect them, to shield them from a world that would devour such proof. But whether locked away or whispered about, the photo became a legend. Fans who heard rumors about it spoke as if it were a relic, something that could finally confirm what they had always believed, that Can and Demet were more than colleagues, more than friends, more than just two actors who happened to share the screen. And that is why this photo matters. Because it is not only about a night in Rome, nor about two celebrities caught in an unguarded moment. It is about what lies between silence and confession. It is about the promises made without words, the glances that reveal more than declarations ever could. Rome remembers. And so does that secret photo. Silence has always been louder than words when it comes to Yaman and Demet Özdemir. Their chemistry was so obvious, so undeniable, that when the camera stopped rolling, people expected the story to continue off-screen. But instead of confirmations, they offered mystery. Instead of answers, they gave the world silence. And silence is dangerous. Because it allows imagination to take control, turning whispers into stories, and stories into legends. The secret photo from Rome became exactly that, a legend. It was not published in glossy magazines, nor did it trend on social media. But behind closed doors, among insiders in Istanbul and Rome, it was discussed as if it were forbidden treasure. People who had seen it described it in hushed tones. They weren't acting, you could see it in their eyes. Some claimed Demet's gaze in the photo was filled with something that no script could ever write. Others said Can's body language betrayed his feelings. Protective, tender, nothing like the confident, untouchable star he showed to the world. For those who had doubted, the photo was proof. For those who already believed, it was confirmation. But why, then, was it hidden? The answer lies in the complicated world of fame. Can Yaman was already becoming an international icon, conquering Italy step by step, while Demet was building her own empire with projects, endorsements, and films. Their names were brands, their careers carefully managed. And one photo, one undeniable piece of truth, had the power to change everything. Because the moment that photo reached the world, there would be no going back. Fans would no longer speculate, they would know. And that knowledge could either turn them into the most powerful couple of their generation, or it could destroy everything they had worked for. So, the photo remained hidden. But secrets have a way of leaking, even without being exposed. Journalists in Rome began to write subtle lines, hinting at a night when Can and Demet were seen together. Paparazzi spoke of missed opportunities. We almost had the shot of the year, one reportedly said. Fans, piecing together timelines, noticed that both actors were in Rome at the same time, though neither spoke of it publicly. It was as if the city itself had chosen to hold their secret, protecting them from the spotlight. Rome kept quiet, but the whispers grew louder. For Demet, silence was survival. She knew the weight of being linked romantically to her co-star. She had felt the pressure before, had been asked the same question countless times, "Are you in love with Can Yaman?" And each time, she smiled politely, deflecting, denying, protecting herself. Because to admit it, even in the smallest way, would be to surrender her privacy to a world hungry for drama. For Can, the silence was different. He was a man who carried passion like a flame, visible in every role he played, every interview he gave. Yet when it came to Demet, he became unreadable. He would compliment her talent, praise her beauty, but stop short of saying what everyone wanted to hear. Perhaps that was his way of protecting her. Or perhaps it was his way of protecting himself. And so, the photo remained the ultimate unspoken truth. A single image capable of unraveling years of denials. A frozen moment in time where their eyes told a story louder than any press release, louder than any staged smile. Fans created theories. They analyzed interviews, dissected body language, and connected dots that may or may not have been there. They spoke of a Roman chapter in their love story, a moment when they were free, far from the watchful eyes of Istanbul, away from the relentless cameras of television. And maybe, just maybe, that chapter was real. Because when people looked at that secret photo, they didn't just see two actors. They saw two human beings caught in the gravity of something bigger than themselves. They saw vulnerability. They saw love, or at the very least, the kind of closeness that cannot be fabricated. But here's the cruel irony, sometimes the most powerful truths are the ones no one is allowed to see. The photo, though hidden, changed the way insiders spoke about Can and Demet. It became the invisible proof shaping the narrative around them, the missing piece that explained their silences, their careful answers, their unspoken tension whenever their names were mentioned together. Rome had revealed their truth, but the world was not ready to hold it. Love is never simple when lived under the spotlight. For ordinary people, a glance, a touch, a secret smile might go unnoticed. But for Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir, every movement was magnified, every silence dissected, every denial doubted. And so, the secret photo from Rome was more than an image, it was a mirror, reflecting not only what they felt for each other but also what they feared. Demet had always carried a kind of fragility beneath her strength. To the world, she was radiant, confident, a rising star whose career was unstoppable. But to those who truly knew her, Demet was also someone who protected her emotions fiercely. The photo from Rome, though never released, was dangerous to her because it revealed something she had fought so hard to conceal, the way she looked at Can. That gaze was not scripted. It was not rehearsed. It was real. And in it, one could read tenderness, trust, maybe even love. It was the kind of expression a woman carries only when she feels something deeper than words can convey. And Demet knew, if the world saw it, there would be no explanation strong enough to undo the truth it carried. For Can, the photo carried a different weight. His life in Italy had transformed him from a national star into an international phenomenon. He was admired, desired, followed by millions. Yet despite all the attention, the photo revealed a side of him that few ever witnessed: vulnerability. In that image, he was not the confident, larger-than-life figure. He was simply a man, standing close to the woman who made him forget the cameras, the fans, the chaos. And perhaps that is why the photo remained hidden for so long. It was too intimate, too raw. It stripped away their masks and showed them as they truly were: two people caught in a connection stronger than their fear of the consequences. But if the photo never reached the public, how did it become such a legend? The answer lies not in the photo itself, but in the whispers that surrounded it. A journalist once wrote in a private column that the truth of Can and Demet is written in a photo that no one dares to publish. Another insider described it as the kind of image that could silence every denial. With each retelling, the myth of the secret photo grew. Fans who had never seen it spoke of it as if they had. Some even recreated imagined versions, drawing fan art or editing fake paparazzi shots, trying to capture what they believed the real image looked like. And in a way, this collective belief became more powerful than the actual photo itself. Because it wasn't just about a single frame frozen in Rome, it was about everything it represented. For the fans, the photo was proof that what they had always felt was true: that Can and Demet's story wasn't just fiction. That somewhere, behind closed doors, away from the lights, there had been something real. For Can and Demet, the photo was both a blessing and a curse. A blessing, because it immortalized a moment that perhaps even they could not put into words. A curse, because it reminded them of what they could not publicly acknowledge. It is said that Demet once confided to a close friend, "Sometimes a single look says everything you are too afraid to say out loud." And perhaps, that is exactly what the photo captured: that look, that silent confession, the one that needed no words. Meanwhile, Can was rumored to have kept a copy of it, hidden away among personal memories. Not for the world, not for the press, but for himself. Because in his world of flashing cameras and staged images, this one photo was different. It was real. Years later, when fans still spoke of the Roman night, it became clear that this secret had turned into something larger than life. It was no longer just a rumor or a hidden image, it was the symbol of everything unsaid between them. The truth about the photo is simple: it did not just capture two people in Rome. It captured what they had always fought to hide, yet could never completely erase. It captured the reason why their names are still spoken together, why their story refuses to fade. Rome gave them a secret. And that secret, even unseen, continues to reveal everything. Time has a way of burying some stories and magnifying others. In the whirlwind of Can Yaman's international projects, contracts, magazine covers, and Demet Özdemir's films, endorsements, and her own personal struggles, many moments have faded. But the secret photo from Rome refuses to be forgotten. It clings to their names like a shadow, resurfacing every time their story is mentioned. Because some images, even unseen, are too powerful to disappear. What makes this photo so extraordinary is not just what it captured, but what it symbolizes. In an industry where so much is staged, where smiles are rehearsed, kisses choreographed, and relationships carefully marketed, this photo was pure accident. A slice of reality breaking through the curtain of fiction. A single second that neither Can nor Demet could control. And that is why it terrifies them. Imagine living with the knowledge that somewhere, hidden in the world, exists a photo that reveals the truth you have always denied. A truth that could silence speculation forever, but also expose the most intimate corner of your heart. For Can and Demet, that is the secret they live with. Fans often ask, why don't they just admit it? Why hide behind silence? The answer is more complicated than it seems. Love, when entangled with fame, ceases to belong only to the two people who feel it. It becomes public property, an endless source of gossip, headlines, and scrutiny. Can and Demet knew that the moment they acknowledged what their eyes betrayed, it would no longer be theirs. The world would own it. And perhaps that is why they clung to silence. Still, silence did not erase the evidence. That photo exists. Whether kept in a private archive, hidden on a phone, or locked away in a drawer, it remains. Some insiders insist that both Can and Demet have a copy, that they each keep it as a reminder of the night in Rome when they stopped being actors and became themselves. Others believe the photo never needed to be published, because its essence was already revealed in their every glance afterward. In interviews, when Can's eyes softened the moment Demet's name was mentioned. In public events, when Demet's smile trembled just slightly at the sound of his voice. In the way both of them, despite all denials, never truly severed the invisible thread that ties their names together. Rome may have been the setting, but the truth in that photo was universal: love cannot always be hidden. Years have passed, yet the whispers remain. Fans still ask about the photo, still imagine what it looks like. They describe it in detail even though most have never seen it: Demet's eyes glistening under a Roman street lamp, Can leaning closer, the quiet tenderness between them. In their minds, the photo has become more than an image. It has become proof that love, no matter how hidden, leaves traces. But what about Can and Demet today? For Can, Rome is more than just another city. It is the place where he built his second life, where fans adore him, where his career flourished beyond Turkey. But perhaps, deep within the streets of that eternal city, it is also the place where his most personal secret was frozen in time. The night he stood close to Demet, unguarded, without the weight of expectation on his shoulders. For Demet, the photo is both haunting and beautiful. Haunting, because it reveals what she never wanted the world to claim as theirs. Beautiful, because it immortalizes a moment she may secretly treasure. A moment that, no matter how much time passes, cannot be erased. And this is the paradox: the photo remains unseen, yet it has revealed everything. It revealed why their chemistry was too real to be denied. It revealed why, despite careers pulling them in different directions, they are always mentioned together. It revealed why, when people speak of Turkish stars conquering the world, it is their names, together, that echo the loudest. The legend of the photo does not need proof anymore. Because the truth has already been written in their silences, in their choices, in the way they carry each other's names like shadows. One night in Rome. One secret photo. One truth too fragile to expose, yet too powerful to hide. And so, the final question remains: will the world ever see it? Perhaps not. Perhaps the photo will remain locked away forever, known only to them, shared only in memory. But maybe that is how it was always meant to be. Because not every truth needs to be shouted, not every love needs to be proven. Sometimes the most powerful confessions are the ones that remain unspoken. And maybe, just maybe, that is why the photo continues to fascinate us. Because it reminds us that real love, the kind that leaves marks, does not need validation. It does not need to trend. It does not even need to be shown. It simply exists, like a secret in Rome, hidden in the folds of time, yet revealing everything with its silence.